Hamilton didn't leave Mercedes just to wear red. He left to breathe. That's what Nico Rosberg let slip, and no one in the paddock is denying it. On the surface, the switch looked like a legacy move, a boyhood dream, a fresh challenge, another shot at the crown. But Rosberg, speaking casually on the Sky F1 podcast, revealed a deeper truth. One of the main reasons Hamilton walked away was to escape the invisible weight of sponsor obligations. 60 days a year. That's how many Mercedes demanded from their drivers for PR, handshakes, media days, photo shoots. Rosberg didn't sugarcoat it. He said, "It's really painful," repeating it twice. Painful enough to walk away from a team you helped build. At Ferrari, that number is dramatically lower. According to Rosberg, during Vettel's time, it was just 10 days. That's not just a lighter schedule, that's a different life. And at this stage in Hamilton's career, freedom might be more powerful than horsepower. That's not in the press release, but it's all over the paddock. When Rosberg said sponsor days were really painful, he wasn't exaggerating. He repeated it twice, not for drama, but because only someone who's lived it understands. These aren't just casual appearances. We're talking about entire days lost to travel, staging, scripts, and smiling for cameras when your head is still processing telemetry or a blown strategy call. For a driver like Hamilton, obsessed with preparation, detail, energy management, that's torture. You can't be fully in the fight when your time is fragmented. Rosberg hinted that George Russell may be facing the same frustration now in his Mercedes contract talks. That tells you it's not new, it's institutional. Mercedes' strength as a commercial giant comes at a cost: driver energy. Ferrari, with its mythic brand and fan base, doesn't need to sell its soul in sponsor appearances. That contrast wasn't lost on Hamilton. The move wasn't just about escaping a car in decline. It was about escaping everything that came with it, off track. That's what no one wanted to say. Hamilton wasn't just a driver at Mercedes, he was a global brand. That visibility brought power, but also a prison. Behind every sponsor event, every campaign, was another slice of time taken from development, rest, or focus. And as Rosberg hinted, that constant pull becomes unsustainable. When you're expected to perform at the highest level on Sunday, but spend Thursday in a suit under studio lights, something breaks. It's not just about being busy, it's about being distracted. At Ferrari, Hamilton saw a different kind of structure, a team where the brand sells itself, where the legend of Red does most of the talking. 10 PR days instead of 60. That's not a scheduling perk, that's a mental reset. And it wasn't lost on Hamilton. He's chasing an 8th title, yes, but also clarity, presence, identity. After years of being stretched thin, he wanted to return to the core of who he is, a racer. No more filters, no more distractions. That's the part of the decision that no Mercedes press release ever mentioned. There's irony in all this. Hamilton left the corporate machine of Mercedes for the most legendary, most scrutinized team in Formula One, Ferrari. But as Rosberg revealed, the Italian giant operates differently. Ferrari doesn't need its drivers to sell the myth. The myth is the product. Their sponsors don't demand constant visibility, they buy into the aura. That gave Hamilton something he couldn't find at Mercedes: freedom. Not freedom from pressure, Ferrari brings its own storm, but freedom from distraction. 10 PR days, 10. That's 50 extra days a year to focus, recover, push. It's not a luxury, it's a weapon. In a sport where milliseconds define careers, those days matter. Hamilton didn't just switch teams, he rewrote the terms of engagement. He chose fewer sponsor days, fewer filtered appearances, fewer distractions. He chose clarity. For a driver so often defined by noise, media, politics, rivalries, this might be the quietest move of his career, and maybe the most powerful. Because when you strip away the obligations, you find the core, the racer, the man chasing an 8th title not to prove something to the world, but to finish on his own terms. That's not legacy, that's liberation. In the end, Rosberg's accidental confession pulled back the curtain. The question is no longer why Hamilton left Mercedes, it's why he stayed as long as he did. And that's the part the paddock still doesn't want to say out loud.